The first thing I knew about this as a potential project was in 2021, I think. I'd painted some portraits during the first lockdown. All 5 portraits were then exhibited in an exhibition that we had in Eam. Sue Pavitt came to the exhibition and said she was interested in having an art and science exhibition. The idea that then was coming to me that could I get a group of artists to paint the different patients.
Rebecca, one of the kind of key contributors, really helped us hone those ideas, and she inspired the title, which ended up being
What was your first impression of Rebecca when you first met her?
First impressions were of somebody who was longing to tell their story.
This is at Jelly train station. Yeah, all the donkeys followed us. Well, they didn't follow us, they overtook us and got to camp, and then the camp was set up. Wow. Most of the people doing this particular trek were doing it for a cause. Everyone had a lovely, different story to tell. I know. It was just magical. Everything started in 2019. I had a very small lump on the side of my nose, which was just like the size of a pea. And then I was actually at the GP for something else, but I just mentioned it, just thinking, oh, lumps and bumps kind of need to be reported. Unfortunately, what we thought was just a little lump turned into quite a large tumour. During that process, unfortunately, the skin broke down from the radiotherapy. It just burnt a very small hole in the mid bit of my cheek. And then, like nylon, it just grew. And that's where the prosthetic journey kind of began. I was referred to the prosthetic department and met Paul, who is lovely.
My job title is Chief Maxillofacial Prosthetist, which means I make facial prosthesis, including ears, noses, eyes. I've been working in this area since 1979, so I've been here now 45 years. So I've had virtually my whole life here. They let me out on a weekend, but
because of the hole in my face, I knew I had to have a prosthetic. I didn't really know what that meant or what it would look like.
This is an example of a facial impression for the part that we need, which is a missing eye. So from that, we would pour the stone model, which is what I've got here.
They kind of make a mixture that's quite gloopy, and then they pour it into the area that needs the prosthetic to make a mould.
With an eye prosthesis, getting the position of the eye right is critical. So now we do CT scanning.
You okay?
Yes, I'm fine, thank you.
Oh, super. Come and have a seat. Help yourself.
I met Rachel, and she was really lovely, and she was telling me all about her PhD while Paul was making the prosthesis and bobbing in and out.
I'm currently a specialty registrar in restorative dentistry, and I'm working at the University of Leeds as an NIHR, National Institute for Health and Care Research, academic clinical lecturer. By working with patients, you really get to understand the impact of head and neck cancer on people's lives.
I've always been surrounded by, being involved in research. That is something I'm really passionate about.
Here we can see where it's positioned the facial prosthesis, and I think it's done a nice job at putting the eye in the correct position. The I'm Still Me project is very much an art science venture to try and engage with the public about people who wear facial prostheses. And it's all about trying to tell their stories, their lived experiences of having a prosthetic made, what the impact of facial prostheses are.
It's the top there, where you expressions, yeah. Yeah, so if I'm very serious, it's fine.
Making a facial prosthesis really brings together the arts and science, and in the UK, maxillofacial prosthetists typically come from a science and technology background, but actually there's a huge artistic component in what they do too.
For me, it's the start of a new journey, which is psychologically is just different, because you start the journey with your whole face, and you end your journey with a bit of your face, an extra bits.
When I first met Rebecca in her home, she laid out on her kitchen table a plethora of photographs of the medical process. I've tried to show the anger that she described so graphically to me.
Yeah, leading up to the surgeries, following the diagnosis and the action plan was really frightening. I was really terrified of having a scalpel on my face, cutting my face, had a lot of night terrors. Yeah, that's led to a lot of anxieties, which followed me through my journey, I think.
She described it as something in the way of shattering who she was and fragmenting. I then had to work with that and came up with the idea of a mirror image fragmenting so that her past whole personality and being was now torn or shattered into shards and pieces that couldn't possibly be put together again. Anger, frustration, vulnerability, and total refiguring of who she was herself.
I think the artists were all very honoured to be doing this, and were also very aware of the sensitivity of what they were painting and the delicacy of painting people who'd had their faces altered in these ways. For example, Alison's been able to do that with Robin.
How are we doing?
Very well.
Should have turned round.
As soon as I heard about it, I just knew I really wanted to do it. I just thought, oh, yeah, that's me. And I was not nervous, but didn't quite know what to expect in every aspect, really. When I met him, he hadn't had any prosthetic treatment, and he was quite, it was a bit of a low point for him. He came all wrapped up and everything, and it made me realise it was a big deal for him to come out and meet someone.
You put the trust in the artist to bring me out of them. And I think you've done that.
Well, you were very generous with your time, and your personality really comes across as soon as you meet you, so.
I'm having this out there, you know, so people can look at it, and thankfully, you've been brilliant enough to actually capture the anger and the darkness.
Rebecca, my inspiration and my muse.
Oh, I'm not.
And here we are,
I know.
the end of this journey. I certainly hope that the whole process of going through these presentations will give her a feeling that her life has been recorded in a way that explains the journey, not only superficially, but also emotionally.
Looking at that, I didn't think I'd be so emotional as I was when I saw it again. Because you just captured everything, like the soreness of my eye, the skin breakdown, like everything is in every single little piece.
I couldn't have captured it if you hadn't been so honest and so willing to share that vulnerability. This final piece shows that you have come through that.
Yeah, and there is a start and an end.
That.
The emotion that you've captured in there is just immense. It's exactly what I wanted. I thought you can't, how do you paint an emotional event, you know, but it's there. I think the pressure now just comes down to me and the confidence that I have to wear it, and the confidence I have to, you know, when people ask questions, you know, because my day-to-day life, those people aren't in the hospital. They don't know my story. For me, it is just, it's a confidence thing, and that's what I need to just grow into. You know, that's part of acceptance. The scars don't fade. That's what you face every day. And then you put your prosthetic on. Then I'm ready for the day. But it's a psychological, ongoing thing that's never forgotten.